right, so our learning target for today is I can solve equations in the form P times R plus Q is equal to S. Okay, so we're going to add some parentheses in the mix when we are solving these. So let's look at a pretty basic example. And we're going to use the cover-up method to help us figure out what to do here, because it is really helpful. Okay, so when we, oh, hold on, I gotta set up my balance line. Okay. So when we did the cover-up method, we would have covered this part up, and we would have said, well, what times 4 is equal to 28, and we would have figured that out. So since we would have covered this up, we're going to deal with the 4 first. Okay, this is different than when we have it in our equation in the other form. So since the first thing that's happening to our variable is it's being subtracted by 5, and then it will be multiplied by 4, we're going to go backwards and undo it. So for this, the first step is going to be divide by 4. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4 to keep my equation balanced. So 4 divided by 4 is just 1. And so what you're left with right here is this part, m minus 5. And then 28 divided by 4 is 7. Now at this point, I imagine you're probably good to go. So this will be m is equal to 12. I don't want to assume that's correct. I want to make sure it is. So I'm going to plug it back in here for m. And I can say, yeah, it works. Okay, so let's take a look at an example that might trip some people up. So let me, actually, you know what, I think I might skip that one because I think I want to cover that when we come back. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so again, we would, if we were doing the cover-up method, we would cover up the top there. And we would say, what number divided by 4 is going to be 8? So that means this right here, dividing by 4, is going to be the thing that we undo first. And the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying both sides by 4. So I'm going to multiply this side by 4, and I'm going to multiply this side by 4. Well, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I've taken care of that. And we're left with k plus 16. And then 8 times 4 is 32. And at this point, I can just go ahead and do the opposite here. So 32 minus 16 is 16. So we're getting that k is equal to 16. I never want to assume that I've done this right, so I'm going to plug 16 back into my equation. 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8. So we know that that is, in fact, the solution. Okay. All right, let me give you a couple to try. Okay, so try those two problems. And while you're working on that, I'm going to go grab my coffee because I left it in my kitchen. I will be right back. Are you guys wearing your Christmas socks today? I'll show you mine. They have little snowmen on them. Well, it's kind of hard to see. Oh, there we go. There's snowmen. You know, my daughter this morning, I have two pairs. They're both pretty beat up. They're very old. I need to get some new ones, but I gave one pair to my daughter. I gave her my really shabby ones. They have like candy canes on them. Oh, she did. I was like, well, I'm not wearing shoes today because I don't wear shoes when I'm at home. I wear slippers. So I was like, I need the ones that look a little bit better than the others. How are you guys doing on this? You're okay? Please let me know if you need me to do some more examples with you, and I will go over these two problems in just a minute. Looks like some of you are finishing up. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. It looks like most people are getting 2 and negative 13 for the solutions. So we're just gonna make sure that that is the case. And I know that some of you probably are not feeling super confident about this yet, so I am gonna go through this step by step again. So when I have an equation that has parentheses in it, like this, and my variables inside, I'm going to cover up everything that's inside the parentheses, and it looks like it's negative 3 times this whole thing. And the opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is dividing by negative 3. So I'm going to divide by negative 3 here, and I'm going to divide by negative 3 here. So what we get, 0 divided by negative 3 is 0. And then the rest here is x minus 2. Well, the opposite of subtracting 2 is adding 2, so I will do that to both sides. And we'll see that this negative 2 plus 2 is 0, and we just get that x is equal to 2. Now, I don't want to just assume that I'm correct, because I am a human and I make mistakes. So I'm going to double check my work by checking my answer. I got that x was 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And negative 3 times 0 is 0. So I would say, yeah, that's it, folks. You got it. All right, next one. Now this is grouping up here. This x plus 7 is grouping, just like the parentheses would be. So I would, if I was using the cover-up method, I would actually cover that up. And so you can see that the first thing that's happening here, is that you're dividing by 3, and we need to do the opposite of that. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. And when I multiply by 3, I want to multiply the whole thing, the whole side by 3. Well, 3 divided by 3 is just 1. So we get x plus 7. And then negative 2 plus 3 is negative 6. Now, the opposite of adding 7 is subtracting 7. So I will do that to both sides. And I get that x is equal to negative 13. Now, I don't want to just assume that I am right. I'm going to check my answer. So negative 13 plus 7 over 3 is equal to negative 2. So this is negative 6 over 3 is equal to negative 2. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. If there's anyone who still needs help with this, I want you to send me a private message so that I know that you still need some help. And maybe we can go into a breakout room while everyone else is working on their practice. So your homework tonight, your practice, which you might even be able to finish before the end of class, needs to be formatted as all of your other assignments in this unit are formatted. You need to fold your page. You should have your solve and your check, and make sure you're using your balance line and you're doing inverse operations, okay? So I'm going to give you the rest of class to work on your practice. Like I said, if any of you are struggling, please let me know and I can pull you into a breakout room and we can do a few more problems together.